All right, I think we can actually get started a little bit. We don't need to wait for the full time to run out. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is a new day, and today is actually a Wednesday, and it's a very exciting day because I'm actually planning to implement quite a big part of UnInbox today, which is adding custom domains. A lot has happened since the last stream. I didn't stream every day. I skipped one day, and during that day, a lot ended up happening. If anyone's out there in the chat, just say hello. It's always good to interact with you all a little bit. If you have any questions at any point during the chat, of course, always just kind of shout them out. Let me know your thoughts. Feel free to always tell me if I'm doing something wrong. I am not a wizard or a master. I know very little about a lot. So yeah, it's an exciting day because once this part is done, it's one of the biggest challenges or one of the biggest parts that everything else kind of builds upon. And with UnInbox, we're supporting custom domains, as well as offering email communication through our @UnInbox domain. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting challenge. But yeah, first of all, let's have a look at what has happened since the last time that we were here. So if we have a look here, we can see the commits that happened. Give me a second, actually. I have a bit of a lighting issue. It's kind of blurring out my display. All right, I guess I'll just pump up my screen brightness. There we go. All right, so we were working on some of the settings last time. We can close this AI chat. There we go. So we were working on adding in quite a few features related to displaying users or organization members. So this is where we stand right now. We're on org profile. If we go over to members, we can see now that the members for the organization are loading in. Initially, these were each just in some random kind of div list item thing, but I got feedback that it was a little bit chaotic and made it really hard to find people, especially when you end up in an organization like this, where there's quite a few kind of members in the organization. So working with Sean Bryden from cal.com, he helped create or port over a table component, which basically then just allows me to list everything in a suitable way within a table. And that gives things like, you know, sorting by people or sorting by various columns. Not everything I think is sortable, or maybe in this table it is. And then the same comes for invites as well. So invites is working. We can create a new invite, send a message to Omar at l1.io. And then, yeah, there we go. The invite is created. We still need to tie in the actual sending of the invite message to the backend. But yeah, we have the copying of the new invite code or any of the older invite codes, etc. And then, of course, you have the, you know, sorting by various columns here. So there's groups, which the page doesn't exist yet. But there's groups, modules, features, and billings. Those can all be done a little bit later on, but the domains is one of the big chunks that I kind of need to get started on and need to tackle. One of the reasons why I'm kind of pushing this a little bit higher up in priority is that, as I said earlier, email identities, routing rules, forwarding addresses, a lot of other stuff kind of essentially builds upon domains. And so we want to make sure then that we get one of the foundational parts in and done. So to give you guys a bit of a, we can close that, and that's our table component. To give you guys a little bit of a kind of overview of the database schema, we can come in here and we can search for domains. There we go. So here's our domains table. This is how the domain is in the database. And Kaizen, hello Kaizen Codes. Good to have you here again. Eckhart, I think actually we need to talk. I wanna have a chat with you about some possible cool stuff. So yeah, maybe once this is done, I'll reach out on Twitter and maybe we can have a call. So yeah, this is our domains table in the database. And the key thing is obviously the domain name. This will be the whatever.com, etc. However, there's a lot of other stuff attached to domains that we need to kind of look at. There are verification stuff for sending emails, which is DKIM key and value. Those come from our mail bridge, and the mail bridge is a completely separate system up here. This interacts with a third-party package that we're piggybacking off of. There's a status of whether it's been active or removed, and then there's a mode. Now users can add a domain to either have the email natively in UnInbox or potentially even just forward the email in. Another thing that we need to look at is DNS status. Has the domain been verified? I.e. they've added a certain text record that allows us to verify that they own the domain. Is it pending? Is it failed, etc.? And so there's quite a bit of logic here that will need to end up happening in order for us to verify that A, users own the domain, B, to determine whether the domain will be coming in natively or whether it will be forwarding in, and C, to ensure that domain status things don't end up kind of essentially getting removed at some point and then somebody says their email hasn't been working for 2 weeks. There are separate domain verification tokens. These are put in a separate table just to make looking up and dealing with things a lot easier. It also allows us to hand over this table to a separate queue that constantly goes through and tries to kind of essentially verify if a domain is done or not. I don't know if this is the best way to do it. It's the way I'm doing it for now. But yeah, so once a user has requested adding a domain, the process that needs to happen is that the main web app, as we can see here, will make a request to the mail bridge, and then the mail bridge will create the database entries, and the mail bridge will then access a monorepo love here. Okay. And then the database, the mail bridge will then come in and use one of these puppets to interact with the third-party system, such as adding a domain. And now if we look at add domain, we can see that it accepts very simple items. The puppet instance, this comes from using the puppets, org ID and public ID, and the domain name. And what this actually gives us back is a domain ID, which is for future managing of the domain in Postal, the DKIM key, and the DKIM value. So yeah, it's quite a comprehensive thing that we need to do. There's a lot of kind of passing from one service through to another. But yeah, hopefully this should go quite easily. I don't think it's going to be too much of a headache. It's unlikely we'll finish everything on the stream here today. But yeah, we may end up kind of going over a little bit more. But yeah, that's the plan for today. So just before I actually kind of get started with that, I wanted to come in and make sure that everything is going all right with the stream. During the last stream, I noticed that there were some kind of coloring artifacts on the display. So today I've got a separate monitor and I'm using a different theme in order to try and up the quality of the stuff on screen a little bit, and then we'll take it from there. So I'm just going to mute for a second while I drink. All right, so I guess the best place to start now would be to come here. Let's close that out. We don't need the mail bridge for now. we're going to need to handle that in a little bit. But let's come in and go to our settings and then go into mail, and here we have a domain. So here we have already a page for domains. What I might actually do is I'll take all of the code from invites and just dump that in there for now. We can go up to the top, make sure everything here is fine, everything is good. Okay, just to simplify things, what we'll do is we'll just put in here domains. And then okay, here we go. So then the table is actually going to be a table that we use for inserting all of the IDs into the system. But yeah, let's save this page for now. I'll come back here. It seems actually like this domains is not even a link yet. So let's go back here. And I believe we are looking for settings sidebar. Okay, cool. So we're just going to want to take this and wrap this. Should go to mail domains. All right, so now if we come in, we click on domains, it takes us there and everything is good. So now we can close this. We can close that. Didn't take the page layout, so let's reload that. Okay, perfect. So yeah, now it's got domains. If we go to members, everything works fine. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is currently pulling in invite data, so that's why it's kind of a bit messy. But what we're going to need to do now is come and create the TRPC routes. So this is the org router, and I think I like to keep things a little bit more structured. So we'll create a mail / domains router.ts. Perfect. And we're going to want the same as whatever's in here. So we can just pass that in here. We need to go one level higher. Okay, cool. I don't know what tables we're going to need yet, so we can get rid of these two and these. Right. Now let's come back to our index. This is the org router. McPizza, the screen capture is still stuck on DB schema. Oh, that is super interesting. That is very interesting. Okay, now it should have updated. I wonder why it got stuck. Sorry about that. And I seem to have missed the previous message about that. Okay. I'll need to keep a bit of an eye on that. Thanks for letting me know. It would have been very embarrassing if I had kept going for quite a while on that. All right, so now I'm separating things out a little bit. So TRPC, web app org, mail router, and then this here will be domains, and this will be domain router. I'm hearing beeps, but I'm not able to... Ah, okay. There we go. Yeah, for some reason my chat doesn't like to scroll, so I gotta keep it open somewhere else. Hey, Macho Man. If you guys want some cool marketing tips and hints and insights, my main man Arvind just joined the chat. So yeah, be sure to check him out and follow. All right, so now we go mail, and this will become TRPC mail org router. Done. All right. So we have this now configured and set up, and what this will allow us to do is access the mail stuff under a separate key. Let's have a look here. We've got a lot of stuff. Okay, let's do create new domain. It's a protected procedure. We can get rid of most of this stuff in here. And so far, we don't want any other procedures. Done. Okay. Great. So in order to create a domain name, we're going to need the organization's public ID. And then we're going to need the actual domain name. And this will be a Zod string. Minimum of 3. Actually, I think... Does Zod have a domain? Does have an email. Doesn't it have an email? Is URL, is email... maybe it doesn't. All right, so we're going to want to verify that it's a domain name. If we come through here to our docs, I think I have the Zod docs open somewhere. There we go. And we want to search for domain. No. Okay, so we may need to come in with some manual regex, which will verify that it's actually a domain name. Let's have a look at strings. Is there a way? Yeah, so we can say that it has to include a dot, or we can just do regex for domains. And this is the part that everyone hates. Or actually, what I can say is min3 max255.regex, and it's gonna need a thing. Where's my AI chat? Here we go. Generate a regex for domain names, for domains, to validate. Okay, let's see what Mr. AI pumps out. Okay, that seems reasonable enough. So let's put this in here. And let's cut that out and put that into the regex. This needs to be wrapped in a string, I believe. You're always more than welcome. Do we want to wrap this in a... Yeah, here it just says regex. Yep, that's it. Yeah, so it needs to accept a regex. So let's do new, what is it, reg xp with that. Is everyone happy? Is that fine? Yeah, no errors. If there's no errors, it means I'm good to go. Okay. So the inputs into this function will be an org public ID and a domain name. We don't need role. Get rid of that. And in here now we can extract the domain name. Domain validation is hard. RFC 1123. Really? Host names and numbers using domain name service. Protocol, specific issues, file transfer. Yeah. Luckily, we're not building an email service, so we don't need to follow any of this. But domain name translation, domain name system requirements. Let's have a look at domain name translation. Is that what we're looking for? Protocol walkthrough, no. I mean, domain name support, host names and numbers. Allow host names to begin with a digit. That should be fine. Host names are up to 635 characters. That's a good point, Kaizen. Why allow host names up to 635 characters? Like 600, like who is gonna, okay. I mean, I guess it's for a lot of internal linkings, data systems, blah, 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 when you have servers sending messages, but etc. But still. All right, let's, npm. Oops, didn't work. There we go. npm, search packages, domain validation. There's 3. Last updated 4 years ago. I mean, it doesn't need to be updated. That's right, foreign characters. Foreign characters and domains. That's a big one, yeah. Foreign characters and domains will be an interesting one that we need to keep an eye on. Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm gonna switch back to that's a close-up. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Let's go to npm and check out the other packages. Email address and domain validation. Happy have something. Company email validator, cubic, domain specific validation language, schema to yup, promise validation, domain objects. Or just c.string and let it downstream service. Yeah, that's a possibility. What's the serve walk? 40 kilobytes. I mean, it's server side anyway, so I don't really mind too much, but I'm gonna end up doing a kind of domain lookup anyway. So to make sure, a node client that usually on errors. Ooh, oh, that's interesting. I could use something like that. Blah, 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 blah. The TLD list comes from here. Okay, so I might actually just use this. I can then just verify whether a domain name is actually registered. It's strange though that it needs HTTPS. We can download this and play with it a little bit, and then see what it's about. Let's see if there's any other packages, just to make sure we're not just going for the first thing that we see. This is a slightly smaller package. Happy is good. Yeah, the thing is then I'm wondering if I would need to actually add in happy as a dependency as well. Or, I mean, I don't want to move over to happy. It's great in its own right, but I'm currently using Zod, so. All right. So, blah, blah, blah. This can be a string, host port, follow, timeout, verbose, bind. I mean, I'm gonna need to do DNS lookups as well, because I need to check the verification stuff. So, I don't know whether I'll find one package that can do that all in one. Auto discovery, who is service, TLD's IP locators. 60 kilobytes, but that's fine. Maybe plug it in Superfine as an async validator. Superfine. Where's Superfine? Is that the? I mean, Zod does have another. is another type. Can't remember what it is. Zod has a way to pass in a separate validator into a Zod thing. I just can't remember what it is. Optionals, nullables, required, strict, catch-all, tuples, unions, records. Yeah. Okay. I think we don't need to verify. We just need to verify it's a string that contains at least one dot, and that's fine. I like 7C. 7C has a great. There we are, talking about 59 kilobytes, and this thing's practically 3 megabytes. But what can it do? tldDetails.com. I don't think I want that. Given host names, domains, available views, you want to parse deal with PSL parsers. Okay, so I could technically then use this to verify that the domain exists. But then it doesn't have any DNS features. No, so that's a bit of a thing. So let's, oops, I need to sort out my monitors and my thing. So Kaizen's saying, yeah, I understand we use some of their utils, like hook. So I'm not sure what needs for the framework itself. Okay, yeah, you sent the link for zod.fine. Let's see. There we go, super refined. Okay, yeah, that's probably what I was looking for, yeah. Yeah, so you basically pass in a separate validator. But again, maybe it's fine. I'll just do .string, and I'll need to check whether the domain is registered anyway before adding it to the system. I think that may be a viable way forward. These guys return a lot of cool data, but I don't know. Again, there's like a lot of stuff that's maybe not needed. Probably not what we're looking for here. But yeah, I appreciate it, Kaizen. I need to remember that refine thing. Sometimes I completely forget. Who is Node? Let's do... Domain DNS. Domain info fetcher. Oh wait, fetch domain info, example.com. Yeah, I need simply just a few of the DNS records. I don't need all of this. It does give me the full DNS data. Ow. So essentially what I'm looking for, I guess, is a way to validate the domains and then later on utilize the same package in order to do the domain verification. So capture the string, process the verification string, double check the DNS records, a lot of those stuff. So yeah, message builder, what? Over my head. Library that resolves names from DAPI name system. ASAP DNS setting. Here's a cool 7-year-old package. Is domain name. Last published 7 years ago. The domain is no longer than 255. That's not valid. It needs to support 635. Has at least 2 characters. No, some domains support 1 character. I know for a fact because I used to own some single character domains. Okay. What is DNS simple? So DNS simple is a service. We need to get the, no, I just want to do it raw on my own system. So I think this was one of the ones that we looked at and is maybe possible. I think there's also a hidden, oops, I've got the wrong screen here. This is interesting. There we go. So Kaizen says, I think there is also a hidden Google URL that I've seen to get DNS data with a GET request. We just give it a domain name and a query param. I'll look into it. All right, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, technically I could, on a low level, kind of like ping one of the many DNS servers. I'm sure some of them have some API. Yeah. So it doesn't say what this would return if... yeah, it doesn't say what this would return if there's no data. I'm assuming it would just return a null object. The SSL certificate data, I don't need that information. The server software used by the domain, I don't need that information. All I would need is DNS. Yeah, this seems maybe a little bit overkill. So let's do domain DNS lookup. FreeWhois is again coming in with this. DAPI lookup. Node RDAP. Interesting. This could be a possibility. Pico. Daughter just woke up from a nap. Okay. No. Yeah, maybe I should have actually prepared this before the stream. Stream's gonna be me browsing on NPM. Domain digger, library for digging data about domains and network services. DNS lookup. It's 7 years old. I don't want to see a light tool. Maybe we do need to go the RDAP way. So Node has a DNS.resolve hostname. uses DNS protocol to resolve a host name into an array of resource records. The callback function has arguments, etc. Oh. That's interesting. Let's do that. Come back to here. I always have a little... I've got too many things open now. Pages, settings, server. Where's my test? There we go. Is this it? Wow. We can leave that in there. Get rid of all that. Okay. So Node has a DNS dot. Can't find DNS, which means we're gonna need to. It is built into Node. What? How am I meant to import from Node again? Okay. Times like this when I can't be bothered. How do I import from Node? Oh, it's just DNS from DNS? Okay. It's not a exported member. Alright, so here let's do a DNS.resolve, and I'm gonna come in with one of mine. And okay. I sent a link to hostname R type callback. I think that, yeah, that's the same link that I ended up at. Okay, so here actually this is then where it's going to cause an issue. Let me open this up in the documentation tab. So here we actually have to specify something, or we can pass any. So let's open this up in documentation. We don't need it here right now. So any. What else are you expecting? Argument of type string is not assignable to the parameter. Don't know why my error messages always go way off the screen. I was expecting error exception or null. An address is string, but you passed string. Let me have a look at the documentation again. So it should take in here. Import DNS from no DNS. Yeah, I think it just imported it from here. So it seems like this DNS is referencing the standard DNS. I think that's okay. Okay, this guy is not happy. What is the correct way to do this? So it needs hostname string, RRR type, A. Okay. So it's just simply Alright, and let me open up Insomnia. Wow, it's giant. Move it to the next monitor. Next monitor. There we go. Okay. So now if I send this, cannot read properties undefined. Let me shrink this guy down a bit. Let's put him up there. There's no self. Save. Okay, what? API test, and we're in API test get. Where are you coming in with convos? Can I read properties undefined reading convos? (51.1). Yeah, for some reason there's... Am I in the right place? Server API test. Maybe Nitro's playing up a bit. Unexpected semicolon. Domains router. Okay. There we go. All right, so let's have a look then at... Okay, so... All right, so this returned... so you got a DNS resolve any. Let's give that a try. Yeah, see, this isn't picking up correctly. It's resolving the name servers, but not the actual records. Let me do resolve MX. Okay. Okay, when I do resolve MX, it is coming up correctly. But resolve any. Okay, so it doesn't. It's cool. All right, so yeah, I mean, I guess we can use this as well to verify if a domain actually exists or not. Yeah, okay, so if there isn't anything, then it comes back undefined. What if a domain exists, but it doesn't have mail records? Also comes back undefined. So there's no way to determine if a domain name is registered or not. Let's see what else they have in DNS. DNS resolver. Yeah, see, that's the issue, is that if the domain doesn't have any records, then it will be passed back as undefined. And this is something that I'm going to need to resolve in order to verify. What is the domain? Domain is depreciated. No, separate. Okay, so I think what I can do then is maybe if I do this, what do we get? 44,227.76. Okay, so that's just the standard alias lookup. Let's see if there's a node who is. All right, I think what we'll do then is we will simply have a looking for the specific MX record, and if it doesn't exist, then verify that there are actually DNS servers, and then yeah, if there aren't, then we can assume then that the domain is just not registered. Okay. So yeah, if we can do a resolve any, if there's nothing there, then the domain is most likely not registered. If there is, then we can access the various keys as we need. Cool. All right, we're like, I have no idea how long in we are, but most likely quite a bit. What is that window manager you're using? Hello, welcome, Fernando. Sorry, I didn't see the message, I didn't hear the ping. I use a few different window managers. Let me come and show you. So there's one where I can drag this and then it offers up this big bar, and then I can essentially just drop the window anywhere. So I can put it there, or I can put it, you know, all the way on the side there. The bar appears around where the mouse is. So now it should appear down here. That's one tool, and you can configure where each of the drop areas are. That tool is called, here we go. That tool is called Rectangle Pro. I think this is I think I got a license for it just because it's a super cool app. But yeah, you can configure different settings, like where you want the stuff to go, how you want things to be. It also has like dedicated, like, remember places and stuff like that. That's one thing. The second thing is, oops, The second thing is the built-in window management. That's in Raycast. I use that sometimes because I have multiple monitors, and so I have shortcuts to like move something to a different screen, move it to another previous screen, etc. So maybe that's what you were seeing as well. I hope that answers your question. All right, we can get rid of this for now. So in the domain router, I'm just going to say string. It's not optional. We don't want to mess around with the regex. First thing we want to do then here is we're extracting the domain name here. We're going to want to import DNS from DNS. And then down here, we want to do a at this step, we just want to verify that the domain exists. So we can do DNS.resolve any domain name. We'll return the records, and that should be it. Then what we can do is so it comes in as an array of records. So if I wrap this in a prettier is unhappy, what did I miss? Here. So let's just log it out. I don't know, actually, this, we may need to await it, which is going to complain because now this isn't async. And this is actually saying that it has no effect on this type of expression. We can't await it. DNS promises. Okay. Hey there, just watching. Hey, Evac. Nice to see you. Cool avatar. Create a new resolve that uses resolve a set servers. Oh wow. DNS.promises API provides an alternative set of asynchronous DNS methods that return promise objects rather than using callbacks. All right, so now we're using the DNS promises with resolve any to resolve the domain name. So this is our domains router, create new domain. let's give this a spin. Response is equal to domain records. Cool. So let's come back to our tester and let's, I think we're already importing TRPC. Await $TRPC dot. Oop, what's going on? Ah. Okay. Sometimes my fingers just completely... What are you doing? Cancel. Sometimes my fingers just completely mess up. Mess up my shortcuts. So, no. I don't want you. Sorry, GitHub Copilot. Go away. Okay, so now we can do await trpc dot org dot oops mail dot. Yeah, my fingers have become misaligned on my keyboard. Now everything's broken. Create new domain, and this needs public ID and a domain name. We need to query. No, it would be a mutate. And let's just all right. So where did our insomnia go? Is he here? Yeah, he's here. Okay. Use next step is not defined. Per, you need to promisify the function. Yeah, that is true. But first, why can I not import? This should definitely be possible. Cannot access test underscore get one before initialization. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of weird stuff in here. Okay. I definitely thought I could just import TRPC here. Event.context. Oops. Does it have TRPC on here? No. So why? That's a bit odd. Why can I not? Okay, I'm sure I'm using TRPC somewhere else. This is server side, so it doesn't have access to the same stuff. Okay. Actually, I am just... Yeah, okay. So the issue is that I am only exporting the TRPC client on the client rather than on the server. And there's a bit of funkiness with that. So I can't do that from there. So let's just go to my beautiful test page. I always have a test page. And this is located in root.
Now, how about drums? An instrument.
Let's open it up in the other window. Cannot access render number 1 before initialization. Okay, lots of weird stuff happening here. This is invalid anyway. Not getting any errors here, am I? I am server side. Cannot access renderer 1 before initialization. Alright, this is where the fun starts to happen. Is this actually a Nuxt issue? Yeah, Nuxt is dead. Probably need to promisify the dev server restart. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen that error before. No, still got the... Oh, come on. I killed something. That killed it? All right. Let me get the... I can never remember what my... Is this working? Hello? Why is this now not... Is everything just dying today? Don't need you. Okay, it's not opening files. Reload. Everything needs to be reloaded right now for some reason. Whatever I did managed to kill half of everything. Alright. So let's go into H-index. We don't want the page meta. Huh. There we go, this is what we want. Oops, not here. it should actually work. Okay, finally, success true response. Okay. Wow, we just spent... How long did we spend? I don't even know anymore. Maybe not that long. Trying to get this working. Alright, I'm going to take a very quick break. That just kind of annoyed me a little bit. But yeah, if you guys want to hang around, I'll be back in maybe 3 or 4 minutes. I'm going to have some water, stretch my legs. But yeah, I will be back very soon.
Struggle as artists isn't about appeasing the crowd. Rather, it's about tending to the broken parts inside of ourselves. We create things as a reflection of this struggle, to study our perception of self. Isn't necessarily a thing you achieve. Rather, it is a state of mind which you constantly strive toward. This all comes from an understanding that ideas aren't static, but fluid, like water. Be like water.
You guys heard it there. Be like water. It's funny that came in on the track. I was kind of walking around and I was like, someone on my computer, someone kind of doing something. But yeah, be like water. Just give me maybe another minute or another 30 seconds and I will be... All right, so let's get back to this then. Okay, so now we've got that working. Let's go into the right monitor. Let's go back to where we were. We can leave this page as it is. We were in the domains router. All right, so We need to put a check in here. If return success false, domain not found. I'll just return an error. I want to get out of that. Okay, cool. So then the next step of what we need to do right now is we're going to want to verify that the user has access to the organization. That's something actually that I need to work on. I think I'm going to need to create some other kind of cache or query or something. But for now we can say user in org response is equal to await db dot read dot org members, which needs to be, why is my auto import not working anymore? It's because it's the wrong table. It is org members. Yeah, there's some funkiness going on with my IDE today. Should be offering to update the import from the schema. Ah, that's why. That's my bad. I need to query the database. Org members. We want to find first where I'm going to need to wrap these in an and. With another equals. All right, so if you're looking at this and wondering what's going on, this is Drizzle ORM, and I'm using their query builder. So what I need to do now is org members dot org ID, and this is going to be an interesting one. It needs to be db dot select where okay, something is not right here. Ah. here we have org public ID. All right. All right, so this is a very, very backwards way for us to essentially kind of, yeah. So what we're trying to do here is before we add in any domains, we got a user ID, which is the actual user's ID, but then we're only getting the organization's public ID, not its internal database ID. So what we need to do here is we're reading from organizational members to make sure that the user's ID matches a member for an organization, and the organization ID is equal to, and then we're doing like this big like subquery or an internal lookup, looking up in the table organizations by its public ID is equal to the thing. So this should return the organization ID if the user is there. And if we have a look in here, yeah, so it just returns an object with organization ID. So again, we're going to return an error, user not in org. Done. Okay. So what we might actually want to do is verify that and then do the heavier DNS lookup stuff. Let's rename this to org ID response, since that's what we're actually getting back. We're getting back the org ID, and then we can use that when we're creating the records. So then we're doing the DNS lookup. If the domain doesn't exist, it comes back as domain not found. That's fine. Whew. I'm going to put that up at the top for now. Okay, so now we need to actually add the domain to the database. Insert domain response, await db.write.insert. By the way, I was lurking around and came across your stream, and maybe I can help you out with your Twitch custom graphics even more. What's your Discord? I can send my portfolio there. I'm fine. I don't need any Twitch graphics. I appreciate it. But yeah, I have some templates and Nerd or Die stuff from years and years and years ago, and I'm not using Streamlabs, I'm not using OBS, so a lot of the stuff anyway wouldn't work, but I appreciate the offer. Thank you very much. Strange. Because we need to call here. What's the correct syntax for this? I'm just switching over right now to Drizzle's query builder. So I'm having to insert is the thing just for querying? Alright, that's fine. Then let's go back to our standard insert, which is just insert into the table, and we need to put this in domain. Domains. And we need to put in the values. We're gonna need a public ID. We need the org ID. Oops. Domain name. No, domain. Domain name. Seems like there's a lot of stuff that we may have to do only after we've created the domain name elsewhere. TKM key, value, what else? Postal ID. Okay. So, got another message offering something. I'm not interested, thank you. No overload matches this call. Which one is... I always dislike how it never tells me which one is the conflicting one. Public ID does not exist in type. Really? See it existing here. Ah. No, that didn't fix it. I've had that so many times. Domain name, DNS status. Pending. Mode. Native. Active. TypeScript is TypeScripting. Yep. Yeah, what is this DKIM status? I don't have a DKIM status. Yeah, okay, there we go. It was just complaining because of the strings. But anyway, I'm going to need to extract this value, and this value after I create the domain in the mail system. So, mail bridge result or response is equal to await mail bridge I thought I exported it as Ah, I did just call it Mailbridge TRPC client. Really, that's ugly. All right. Postal dot org. Need to go back one step and create the I need to create the TRPC route here. So this is the org router. We're gonna need to add a, how do we have this set up? Postal. So we're gonna need to add a domain. Let's just duplicate this. Having to do a lot of backward stuff. So this needs an org ID, a public ID, and then we will need this as a domain name. Okay, cool. Domain name. Done. So it should be needed from here. So the postal organization ID is equal to there. Kindly respectfully go away, evac. Evac, I appreciate it. Genuinely though, I don't have a need for graphics. I don't use graphics. It's not something that I generally do. I would love it if you hang around and check out some of the cool code stuff that we're doing. But yeah, at this moment, I don't have a need for any graphics. Thank you. All right. So next we need to launch a Puppet instance. And a Puppet instance is basically just a Puppeteer system. We can get rid of this. We can get rid of this. Get rid of... Wow, there's a lot of random stuff in here. I don't need... let's leave the mail server and we'll get rid of all the others. Mail server, personal org, that's fine. Close Puppet, insert. DB write. Okay. Domain ID. Let's actually get the stuff back first. Add a domain. This guy needs Puppet instance org public ID and then domain name. This will end up giving me a DKIM key and a value. Org ID, domain ID. Okay. Hi, Floco. Floco? Floco? Hey, Floco. welcome to the stream. Okay, so what we're doing here now is that we're launching a Puppeteer instance, and then we're using the add domain snippet that I've already created to kind of do whatever we need. At the end, we're always going to need an await postal puppet dot close puppet, and we need to pass in the how have I got my oh yeah, I'm just passing in the puppet instance. Wrong. There we go. All right. So what we need to do is we need to create the domain in Puppet. So essentially, all that's going to do is that's going to come up here and okay, so let's go through that again. All that does is that comes in here, it clicks around, logs in, clicks around, comes to add a domain, clicks on here, adds the domain name, goes back, gets the domain details, and we can see domain details in here, for example. It then goes into here, into here, no, into here. Comes here, opens up the domain, gets all of the details, gets the DKIM records, etc., and then it sends them back through. So all that script does is just manually clicking around the page to add a domain name. There is another step that we take care, Kaizen. We'll see you soon. I don't know where these bubbles come from. I keep doing things like this, and then suddenly it's like random stuff happening on the screen. It's always randomness. I can't trigger them. Like, don't even know what I did there. But yeah, so this goes through and does all of that, and then it returns back the domain ID, the DKIM key, and the DKIM value. Now those are super important because as soon as we've created a domain, another thing we need to do is create an email route. And so this email route now, if we scroll down, I only implemented one. But we're going to have to duplicate this because we're going to also need to call this. And what this does is it accepts a username, a sending name, a user ID, an organization ID, blah, 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 and the root domain name. And what this does is this basically just goes in and creates the mail routes for a domain. Yeah, so... we got quite a bit of stuff ahead of us. If we're creating the domain there, maybe I'll just immediately create a route. Yeah, so we need to do one of these, a set mail server route for domain. And if we come in and look at this, this accepts domain username server ID, and then this returns the domain name with the forwarding address. Whoa, yeah, this is cool. All right, so we can close this. We're going to need a copy pasta of this when we're creating the domain. Set mail server for root, Puppet instance, organization ID, organization public ID. We have this here. Server ID. What is my server ID? I'm gonna have to query the database to get the server ID. So, const postal server ID response is equal to await db.read.query dot postal servers dot find first where equals postal servers dot, this gets really long in the tooth, dot org ID is equal to org ID. We're going to want the columns public ID true, wow, okay. Hey Sean, how are you doing? Yeah, this is now where the web of stuff starts to come in. So I need to, let's just close this off so I don't get too many errors. Just ate too much food. Did you have pizza again? This here will be server response dot public ID, but I need to I need to remember now when I create an organization. So when I'm creating an organization, if it's not a personal org, do I create a mail server? Yes, I do add a mail server. I add a mail server. I add the sending limits. I add the event webhooks. I add I do its API key. I get the SMTP key. And I set everything. Okay, that's fine then. So all of that information technically at the end here, I do have it in postal servers in the database. And so I need to extract, I'll get the type email as well. Okay, we can close that for now. So yeah, let's wrap this in an and do another equals. Postal servers dot type is email. Okay. Oof. Not pizza again, no. Well, I mean, pizza could have been nice for another one. But yeah, a little bit. If you eat too much of pizza, then it does get a little bit heavy. Okay, so we're gonna get the postal server's ID for the organization. We can actually move this. Yeah, let's leave it there. Oof. All right, so now we're going to set a mail route. We want the Puppet instance, which is initiated above, the organization ID, the postal organization ID. We want the postal server ID response, the public ID of that. We want the domain name, which is passed in by the user. And then we also want the username, which we an asterisk or a star, and that is basically a catch-all. This gives me in response a forwarding address and the domain name. So now what I want to do is const update domains are here. Why do I have a forwarding address on the mail server, not on the domain? I also have on the domain. So if we come here to domains, yeah, that's something actually then that I may need to remove, because the postal servers don't actually have their own. Remove this value as it's per domain. Route rather than per server. Alright, I won't remove it now, I'll remove it later on. If we don't end up using it, then that's fine. Okay. So this guy gives me the domain name, forwarding address, and username. I'm not going to do anything with them here. Instead, what I need to do is postal server ID response, Puppet domain response. Domain ID. DKIM key. DKIM value. What else do I get from here? I get the key, I get the value and domain ID, and then from here I get the forwarding address. All right. So this should be done now. we have a domain router with a create domain, takes org ID, org public ID. Yep, that's fine. Takes org ID, org public ID, and a domain name. Creates a Puppet instance, tells the Puppet instance to add the domain to the postal organization ID, which is the same as the organization public ID. And then we read from the database to get the postal server that's configured for that thing. We get the public ID of it, we do a public ID response. Await postal puppet, close puppet, and then we return all this jazz. Wow. Okay. So now we can come in here. Actually, now that we've saved that, have we exported it? Save that. Let's get rid of this thing up here. And now when we come in here, domains dot create domain dot mutate. This will need the inputs. Org ID is that one. Org public ID is the public ID, and the domain name is the domain name. And then this will return us, we can get rid of that success boolean. I'm not handling any errors here. If any error is happening, it's going to be a little bit messy. Maybe here should be a good one. Come on. Come on, autocomplete. Oh. Okay, cool. Now here, what we can do now is we can actually access the mail bridge response, get the DKIM key, mail bridge response, get the DKIM value, postal host. I have this as a variable somewhere. Okay, I'll have to pick that out. It's the domain name. Postal ID. Yeah, it seems like I made an error in the database. Let's check the schema again. Root. Email routing rules. So I put forwarding address on the server. Whereas it should be on the email. And that is a pain because I would actually need to modify the table to support it. So this would need to exist here. Then I'm going to need to come into the actual database, connect to my dev branch. I don't want that. Console. Alter table domains. I can never remember the syntax for this. Alter table domains. Where's my AI guy? Generate the SQL needed to insert a new column called into a table called domains with the column type equal to varchar length 256. Okay, that's how we do it. Add column, forwarding address, and we don't need to say that it's a type, we just put it there. Varchar 256. Completed in thing. So now let's do show table domains. It's not show table. Explain table? Describe. Okay, there we go. So we do have a null here. That's fine. All right, so now we can add this into the schema. I'm only adding it manually because I want to skip having to do a migration or something. Sean is asking, how are you checking if people have perms to do all this? I know you got auth, but any more than that? I do. It's a very good question. Let's take a bit of a side detour then, and let's come to here. So this is the create new domain, and anyway in the TRPC context, I've got added into the TRPC context that the user and user's ID is always there. What I'm doing then is I'm finding if the user is an org member, like if they're a member of the organization. That's the first query I'm doing. Eventually this will become a subquery. Yeah, so eventually this will become a subquery. And you're actually perfectly correct in that I should actually check as well if they're an admin. So yeah, I'm using the user's ID to query the database and make sure that they are, first of all, a member of this organization. And now I'll add in also that they are actually an administrator. Is not equal to admin. No, that's it. So that's essentially how we're doing it now. We don't have any kind of row level security or anything on the system yet. These queries will most likely end up becoming either cached or maybe even a part of the context. I just don't know which way around is best. There is as well the possibility that, you know, we can save more data in the user cookie, such as which organizations they are admins of, but then that leads to like a whole thing of storing extra information in cookies, etc. That information could be invalid. That information could end up, you know, not working out or not being as perfect as, you know, accurate as we need. So for now, it's just another raw query. Queries are cheap. Is the ideology that I'm going with right now. Like, queries are just cheap. Cool. So we added that in, and we just added in the table. So let me come back here now. Now we can add in the forwarding address, which is MailBridge response forwarding address. And I think that's good. We verified that the domain exists and that there are some DNS records. That's cool. If the domain isn't registered, we've done that. We then create the domain in Postal via the MailBridge, which returns back all of our cool keys that we need. We're then inserting this into the database. And the response from this let me drink while I think. So if I'm creating a domain name on the front end, I may actually want to end up, like if we go to Vercel and we go to domains, they've changed this. This has changed. Okay, so Vercel didn't used to have this. That's odd. Yeah, and when you click into a domain, then you can start to see a lot of the additional information there. Seems like they're really moving and pushing towards you registering domains with them. Okay, yeah, so when you add it, then it just takes you then to a list of domains and DNS records. Cool. All right, I'm going to take another few minutes break. Enjoy the music to the few people who are still out there. But yeah, I'll take a few minutes break, stretch my legs again. It's getting to that time. And then I'll come back. All right. I don't know why. Why is my camera frozen? I think the audio is going out, but camera looks a bit frozen. Yeah. Give me a second while I restart it. Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened there. The camera just suddenly randomly froze. But yeah, I am representing Documenzo today. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's a really cool open source project. It's a replacement for DocuSign. So it's a great open source way to send and sign documents. If you've had to do any kind of legal stuff in the past, you would have definitely come across DocuSign and how amazing its UI and feature set is. So yeah, let's get back to what we were doing. Okay, so this is what we're doing here. What we're most likely going to want to do is redirect the user to a specific page. So if we have a think of the app, when you're in domains, you can see the status of the domains, and then you should be able to click on one in order to see more of its details. So in order to support that, what we're going to need to do is come to our pages here. We don't need join pages right now. We don't need login pages. We don't need Convo or the home. We're all in settings. So org, mail, and then this is our domains page. So most likely we're going to want to create a domains / and then domain ID .view, what we can do then is move this guy into here and rename to index. And then oops. I want to come into here and put all this in. And here, where we're creating the thing, we're going to do const domain public ID is equal to use route as a string. Okay. So what we'll do then is that then we'll redirect the user to this page for the initial configuration of the domains. So if we come back here now, what we're going to want to do is domain public ID, or just domain ID, is equal to the new public ID. And then we're going to want a query one. Further down here. Get domain is a protected procedure. We need the organization public ID and the domain name. This will be domain public ID, nano ID length. Come on, go away. We're going to extract that. We're going to need the same query to make sure the user can actually access stuff. I should probably extract that into a separate function. We'll leave it for now, it's fine. So this is getting the ID. So now what we want to do is const domain response is equal to await db.read query domains find first where domain public ID is equal to domain public ID and org ID is equal to org ID response. And we want the following columns from the table. We want the public ID, domain name, DNS status, mode, host, status, key, value, is that it? No, there's others as well. Created at, last DNS check, status update. Oof. It's a lot of columns. So this will give us a nice response with all of the data in there. What I might do is actually modify this so it returns no, that's fine. All right, so what don't we want to come here? Don't need this. Don't need this. Do want this, DKIM key, DKIM value, created at last DNS check. Okay, so a lot of data to pass back, but that's fine. Return domain data. Okay, let's save that. We're going to duplicate this a second time because we want to get all of the domains for an organization. We can get rid of this. So again, we need the organization's ID. We need to make sure that the user is a member of the organization. And they don't necessarily need to be an admin. Yep. So we can get rid of this. To find many. And here we're passing back the public ID, the domain, the mode, etc. I don't think these are needed right now. Status, DNS status. Cool. All right, so now we have two new TRPC procedures. Get a single domain and get an organization domain. Binding elements. Wow. Why? Whoa. What did I just break? ID is getting funky. We've been going for almost 2.5 hours. Still quite a few more hours to go on this, but yeah. Oh, it's a long stream. All right, so we have our TRPC endpoints. Let's save these and close it. Where am I? This is domains index view. I don't think I need this guy now. I don't need this guy. This is the postal router. I don't need that. I don't need the database schema. Cool. So now let's check out the domains. So we're going to want to go to trpc.org.mail.domains.get org domains. Use lazy query. This is not a mutation, this is a query. Same thing with the guy above, he is also a query. Okay, there we go. So use lazy query is basically really cool. It was added in recently into TRPC Nuxt, and it allows you to do to use Nuxt's built-in use lazy async data, and that basically just gives access to the data, the pending, the refresh, etc. It stops blocking the rendering of the page in a really cool way. So this will be org domains query. Table code looks familiar. Yes, well, yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. You really saved my ass. I definitely appreciate that. So this is the only annoying part now. I'm going to have to recreate all of the columns. So we're going to need a status column. Let's do this. Let's open that, throw them on the right, and then come back to here, because now I get to see. Yeah, cool. I don't need you right now, my friend. Okay, so key status that exists. Code we don't need. We're gonna need domain. Public ID we don't need. DNS status. DNS status. And mode. I think that's all we need really for the list view. Can get rid of those. Okay. So when domains query updates, new table rows. For each domain of here. Possibly undefined. I hate it when it does this. Okay. Yeah, that's when the TypeScript starts typescripting. Cool. We can get rid of this truncating the email address. That was for another list. New table rows dot push. We have status, domain, DNS, and mode. Status. I completely forgot what I just said. Status, domain, DNS, and mode. Alright, and then we set the table to be the new table row. This we can leave in there for now, we'll change that up. And then the table, where's my table? There we go. That's for table columns, blah, blah, blah. Most likely we can get rid of almost all of these templates. Wow, okay. All right, let's try it out. Okay. Yep. Domains. Let's log out the response. This one doesn't have any domains. There we go. Okay. So these guys do have 2 domains. So strongreindeer.biz and lost fratricide. What? This dummy data is really messed up. Whew. All right, let's get together and feel alright. That's not in the right page. I don't need this template. I don't need this template. I don't need an avatar template. I don't need another avatar template. I don't need this one. So the columns that I have are status, DNS, and mode. Those need a bit of styling. So status, that's fine. Yeah, we'll do DNS. And then we're gonna need mode. So this one should be, if it's valid, then it should be green, otherwise it should be red. And I said mode. Oops. Mode. Oops. I'll have to change the coloring of these later. It's not as important right now. Cool. I think I want the domain name as well to be standing out a little bit more. It gets hidden a lot. So I'll also create a template in the second position because it's the second column. And domain. We can get rid of this. We don't need it to be uppercase, but we do want it to be normal size text. And font mono. Nice way of handling custom rows, cells. Yeah, definitely. It's a really, really cool. Yeah, it's a very, very, very cool way. That's part of the reason why I was like really afraid of having to implement tables, because I didn't want to have to go in and do all of this myself, like recreate this from the ground up. Like, it was lucky that you were able to like really rip it. That is not mono. Misspelling there, and then I need to set this one to domain. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I added in on UI table, like right at the top, like this is a fork of the original Nuxt UI table component. I mean, I wanted to add your name in there and be like ripped by Sean, but then I also thought maybe in case anyone's like, hey, what are you doing? You know, kind of get rid of that. But yeah, okay, so we have it here now. We have the status of the domain. We have the domain name, the DNS status, and the mail mode. Let's rename that column to, instead of just mode, I need better names for a lot of this stuff. Mail mode. Cool. So another thing then that we're going to want to add is a, should this be sortable by mail mode? Yeah, I'll leave it sortable by all. We're going to create some actions. I wish there was a way where I could make, sorry, I say speaking up to the sky. I wish there was a way that I could make the whole row the link. Because as things stand right now, I can add, if we go to here, into the table thing here, they do have an searchable, paginable. I actually need to make some of them searchable. That's fine. Loading empty slots. Data cell or column. Yeah, so this is their example here. They have a separate kind of like a separate actions item on the right. Eventually I'll get to this when I implement all of these other cool, nice little things, whatever, but for now I'll do just forwarding. So they have a column called actions. And then in the actions, that's where they're adding it then. Click on the row. Let's see what Sean is sending through. Supports click, I think. Yeah, that is right. There is something about clicks. You're very right. Where do they have the documentation for this then? Columns. It's not going to be under columns. Sortable. selectable, searchable. Maybe if I look on the right here. Maybe there's something in the props. I should actually put in my sort icons. Interesting. You can also add a select listener on your table to make the rows clickable. The function will receive the row as the first argument. You can use this to navigate to a page, open a modal, or even select the row manually. Interesting. So I would need to add a ref of selected, vmodel it to something selected that will return the index of the row. Then I would have to go back to the rows, get the domain ID. Yeah, so I can essentially then just watch this. So add any new prop for href, much easier, I think. Yeah, I did think that. I mean, this way is also interesting. It's I mean, I could actually do this. So up here, we're doing a. Are we in the right place? Ah, yeah, here we go. So we're passing in the templates, which they don't really have that well documented here either. I'm wondering if there is a template that we can pass in for the whole row. Oh, but this is it here. It's like @click function. Wait, hold on. Do I just do in here then? That's the columns. Like literally like this. Just pass in a click. Like navigate. Keyboard's misaligned again. Navigate to Costa. Welcome. You want to know what theme? Andromeda or Andromeda, depending where you're from in the world. But yeah, I've been experimenting with different themes because the colors don't come through perfectly on stream. So I'm currently experimenting with a few different ones. Thanks. Usually my typical one, the one that I use all the time the most, is Tokyo Night Goh. But yesterday with reviewing the stream recording, it just looked really funky, the colors. So today I'm streaming with this. Or public ID /mail/domains domain.public ID. Argument of type string is not assignable to the parameter navigate to options. Navigate to is meant to be a string. No. Root location raw. Okay. Let's just get rid of this for now. It's because... there we go. Happy? All right, so I'm wondering now, Sean, based on that... yeah, I'll come back in and I'll make it a dynamic thing. Okay, let's go to domains. Let's go to one that had... yeah. Okay, that didn't work. It looks like they have something here, right? Needs to be an invocable call. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking just a simple arrow function. I mean, let's come back to these guys. Okay, we have the domains. No, didn't work. Yeah. Yeah, React is all about your beautiful, glorious arrow functions, isn't it? Yeah, that didn't work. These are not clickable. So I guess there's something in the documentation then where, I mean, like this isn't... So this accepts a key string. We may need to go and look at the secret sauce. Oh, it's probably hidden behind here, isn't it? Yeah. Even though I've got it technically there. Runtime. Let's see actually if anyone's mentioned. Yeah. I don't see anything. Event handler for table rows. Support clickable row, emit value. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's just been coded in like this. I mean, I can do the other. I can do the airway. It's fine. I'm not exactly like trying to save bytes here. This will not be people. This will be table rows 1. And select a row. I always love how everything's just untyped. vModel is, I already forgot the selected. And at select, yeah, is equal to row type of table rows number. Is that the type? Copy pasta. It's funny because my neighbors are hardcore Italians, and sometimes they hear me saying stuff like that and they laugh. Well, I don't wanna have a. Number. Happy now? Yes? Okay. Let's go back to where I was. So selected. At select. Selected. What did they use here? Let's just select. Ah. This is reference to the type of key of number, table rows. Yeah. Yeah, I skipped the typing on this. I just made it a little bit. You keep delaying the types, and you keep pushing and pushing and finding hacky workarounds, and then yeah. Table rows dot value. Thank you. Okay. This whole thing is gonna get messy. You know what? I don't want to do this. Or maybe I do. So this gets a row. This is a value. Const index is equal to selected value dot find index of item. An item is not passed in here for some reason. Let me go back to the docs. feel my brain burning out. All right, Sean's coming in with a whole bunch of stuff. Table rows.value. Yeah, we fixed that one. Router output is router name. What? Router output equals router name? Selected should just be table rows.value as its own array. Ah, okay. Okay, okay. Okay, then we're gonna need. Oh man, yeah. Well, because none of this is typed, it's ending up a little bit more of a thing. I don't get why they're doing this. I don't want a multi-select actually, which is one thing. This is all accounting for creating an array which is based on a multi-select. I think what I'm just going to actually do is on select. Let's just like logs out the row. It gives us the row, so then let's just do here. Console.log row dot. What rows things do we have? That's not typed. So domain as an example. Join in Discord for 30 seconds. Okay. Do you wanna come on the stream? Sean? Infer your table rows as this, inferring types. If you infer the table as this, you will get auto completion. Ah, you'll talk about TRPC inferring. Yeah, but that wouldn't work because I will then need to partially pick and omit from the return TRPC type. We're not just passing in all of the TRPC data into here. We're actually picking specific items and pushing them. What I could do actually put in here a domain ID. Domain ID. Domain public ID. Right? Would I be right in that, Sean? That we would then need to go. No. Let type inference be a thing. Okay. Let's do type inference then. You are right. Like the purpose of TypeScript is to have TypeScript cool stuff. Wow, why did everything close? Sean is calling me on Discord. Hello. Hello. Yeah. All right, hold on a second. So, can you repeat that? I don't think I can get your audio into there, but can you repeat what you said? I don't think anyone's watching anyway. Hello, people. Yep. Hold on, wrong screen. Yep. As just an array of objects, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, so new table rows is just an array. That's table rows over here. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. So what I essentially need to do is I need to infer this type here, right? So I somehow need to infer this type and pass the inference back up on table rows.value. Okay, so yeah. I'll remove this for now. It won't accept that, so what I need to do is... can you dynamically change the type? Can I say your type is now this and now your type is this? You know what? Like, it's super simple. Here we go. Let's just create a very simple not interfact interface. Yep, that's what I'm going to do now. There we go. That was a lot easier. So this here will be... Yeah, I don't know why I'm struggling so much. Okay, done. There we go. And new table rows, I should also type this then, just to make sure then, you know, let's copy that, put it in there. I don't like thing. And Sean has just dropped off. Done. Okay, let's bring back the music. Sean, I appreciate that. I kept cutting out. Oh, wow, yeah, well, we've gone over 3 hours anyway. It's probably Twitch trying to tell me that I need to wrap it up soon. Okay, so now that we've got everything typed correctly, I think I'll just finish off this section here. I don't want this right now. It's just annoying me. Okay. Let's save this. And now if we click this, I've got the console opened off screen. Okay. Yeah, so when I'm clicking these, I'm basically getting in the console right now the domain name, which is what I told it to log. So yeah, I can just come back in here now and say navigate to and perfect. So now when I'm in here, if I click on one of these, it takes me to the actual domain ID. That works. That's brilliant. I didn't need to do any crazy like check the array and the ID and the index and stuff. The row is passed in. So I don't know why they wanted to do that whole row index stuff. Maybe if you're doing like multiple select, then you may want to know which indexes you've got selected. But yeah, for this, I think it's perfectly fine. Could even simplify it a little bit more, but I think that's it for here. The only thing then that I would need to do is on the settings org mail domains. Oh, what's the issue? What don't you like? If you've got an error, you get commented out. Okay, and then on the domains page now, we're not gonna need table rows. Sean just sent something else. Let me open it up. Okay. Yeah, we don't need the table columns. We don't need table rows. And get rid of that function. What did I call it? Domain public ID? Domain public ID. Okay, and then we can get rid of the table element. What we can actually do is we can get the mail.domains.getDomain. Use lazy query. Domain public ID is domain public ID. Done. So now if I click on one of these, it takes me to the domain, loads up all of the domain information from the backend, including the DKIM values. That doesn't look right. Why is a DKIM value a UUID? All right. I mean, I'm going to end the stream here. I think it's a good place to end. I will continue working on this for the rest of the day. And then I need to generate some of the UI stuff for the domains. And that's it. But for now, this is another 3-hour stream. Catch you all another time. Bye!